Ever since they were first invented, cameras can come in a variety of shapes and sizes, but Pikachu is probably not one you would expect. There's an entire hidden world of ridiculous novelty toy cameras, and these doohickeys fill me with so much joy. They usually come in the form of point-and-shoot film cameras, where there's no settings whatsoever. All you can do is put some film in it and take a photo. And this technology is so simple that they can make the outer shell look like whatever they want, like french fries or soda cans or even airplanes. But by now, these things are such a product of their own time. Not only do they look outdated, but they function outdated. Although I feel like that makes them even more interesting to check out in the modern day. So today I'll be taking a deep dive into the forgotten world of wacky novelty cameras. And of course we'll be loading them up with film and testing out what kind of photos you can get with them. Starting out with the legendary cursed Pikachu camera. I already mentioned this doodad in my Pokemon products video, but now I actually have one in real life to take a closer look at. As you can see, Pikachu's body gets elongated into the shape of a camera, which looks absolutely ridiculous. The lens is a Pokeball sticking out, and there's another blue Pokeball on top for the flash. And my favorite part is the fact that the shutter button is a little Diglett jutting out of the top. I love that you have to press a Diglett to take a photo, that's so cute. But of course, it's about time to take some photos with this doohickey. So for the first photo shoot, me and my girlfriend went out to the beach with a big ol' Pikachu plushie. For the film, I'll be using this 35mm Kodak Gold 200. And as you can see, you have to rip open his elongated back to put in the film. And after taking the first few photos, I forgot to mention the absolute best part about this camera. Because every single time you take a picture, it exposes a silly Pokemon frame onto it, which is so cool. It makes all the photos look extra special and nostalgic, I love it. But anyways, for the photo shoot, I was basically just placing the stupid Pikachu plush in random places.
He's rolling away. I think he's a little bit on the pretty side.
First off, this photo of him on the grass is pretty cute. There's also Pikachu chilling on a bench. And this really aesthetic photo of him on the beach. He's just so peaceful, without a care in the world. He also fell into a bush at one point, which looks kind of funny. I even placed him on a rentable bike I found for some reason. And the resulting photos are absolutely ridiculous. The fat Pikachu stuffed in the basket looks so dumb. And then I got this awesome shot of Pikachu mid-air, which came out insane. This photo is so tough. Overall, the camera was so fun to use, and the photos came out amazing. The colors, the grain, and the dirt look so freaking cool. There's almost a dreamlike quality to the way the Pikachu just glows, I love it. And the best part is the cute Pokemon frame that wraps around every photo like a warm, nostalgic hug. Although, for some reason, this camera has weird shadows in the corner, and in some photos, the frame is just way too dark, which does not look good. I do also want to mention that after I took all the photos, I had to go to a camera store to get them developed, because that's how film works. And only then, a few days later, did I finally get to see the Pokemon-themed results. And every one of those nights, I went to sleep with this really high-quality sleep mask, of course. This video is sponsored by Manta Sleep. Personally, I've tried a lot of terrible sleep masks over the years. I might even be a sleep mask connoisseur if I don't say so myself. And Manta Sleep makes easily the best designed, highest quality ones I've ever tried. The best part is the special eye cups, which make it so you don't feel any pressure around your eyes. So they're super comfy and block out literally all light. You can take a nap in the middle of the day with all the lights on, and it's just pitch black in there. They're also fully adjustable, so they can perfectly fit around anybody. Every other sleep mask I've used would always fall off in the middle of the night, but these do not. So no matter what kind of messed up sleeping position you may have, these guys will be staying nice and snug around your face for the entire night. And if that's not enough, there's even a bunch of other different types of sleep masks to fit any preferences you may have, such as my personal favorite, the silk one. I just really like the material because it's nice and smooth. Or even the pro mask, which has really good breathability. And the squishy front is kind of satisfying. So if you're having any trouble getting to a cozy dreamland, then check out Manta Sleep with the links in the description, or use code Polygon to get 10% off your order. Alright, back to the video. But now, diving even deeper into the world of weird-looking cameras, I discovered an entire rabbit hole of soda can cameras. There's actually so many of these. There's real soda brands like Pepsi, Coke, Fanta, 7-Up, and there's even made-up ones like this really cute Angel's Juice. But then they took it even further by making multiple beer can cameras. Why do you need your camera to look like a Budweiser? Imagine trying to crack open a cold one and it's just a fully functional 35mm film camera. Anyways, this entire phenomenon fascinates fascinated me so much, so of course I bought my own. Introducing the Fantacam that can secretly take photos. If I put them side by side and you squint a little bit, you literally can't tell the difference. But if you look closely, you can unfold these gizmos to transform it into a camera. You can also unfold this entire side of the can to reveal the secret film compartment. And the most creative part is the fact that you can turn the top to advance the film. And when you flip open the tab, you can rewind it. Also, the shutter button is just the secret spot that pushes in. The sheer amount of contraptions they had to make to keep the camera parts hidden is genuinely impressive. You can transform this soda can into a camera back and forth at ease. It's actually so sick. And all the gizmos are really satisfying to play around with, which is a nice added bonus. And now we're back to the beach to take some soda-themed photos.
Oh my god, I got it. Wait.
This time I took a bunch of photos of an actual Fantacan on the beach. And the first thing I noticed is that the framing is terrible, because I didn't realize that the viewfinder is way higher than the actual lens. So in most of my photos, the Fantacan is just at the bottom of the frame. But next I took some photos of the Fantacan buried in the sand, which looks pretty cool in my opinion. And then I went into the water and got these insane shots of the Fantacan in the waves. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm genuinely surprised by how good this photo looks. I feel like Bowser in that one Mario movie clip. The lonely can of Fanta on the smooth and shiny wet sand is so satisfying. And the colors on this film look magnificent. I also got Shibi to take a photo of me with my green hair everywhere, and of course it's framed with me on the bottom of the picture, but for some reason it looks kinda cool that way though. And there's also this one of me playing in the water, which is kinda funny. I love how much the waves glow in the sunlight, it's so pretty. This ridiculous Fanta camera takes surprisingly clean photos, I'm genuinely impressed. There's no dirt or scratches on the lens, and no weird shadows or distorting in the corners. You just gotta take into account how high the viewfinder is to frame everything correctly. Although I still wish there was some kind of funny soda-themed border. But speaking of yummy drinks turned into cameras, we also have the juice box camera. And as you can see, it looks like a juice box. Who would have guessed? I love all the ridiculous fake branding they put all over this thing. There's even a bunch of fake nutrition facts and ingredients. It even says the fluid ounces. This is insane. The dedication to the bit is just impressive. But as you can see, there's very obvious camera components sticking out, such as the gear and the rewinder doodad, or the entire viewfinder hole in the corner. But my favorite part is the fact that the little straw poking out is the shutter button. And when you push it down, the secret lens is revealed for a split second. And once again, it's about time to load up the film and take some photos. And this time I just went to a Woolies, because I feel like a grocery store is pretty on theme for a juice box.
Actual freak.
But unfortunately, I severely underestimated how much light this camera actually needs, because all the Woolies photos came out looking so dark and scary. But with a bit of color correction, they actually ended up pretty cool and liminal. It's like a grocery store backrooms level or something. I also went outside and took a photo of a real juice box we bought. But now we get into the #1 issue of this gizmo, the tiny rectangular shape and the shutter button being on the side, which makes it so the natural way of holding this is with my finger in front of the lens, and I didn't even notice the whole time. So the majority of my photos have my big old finger covering the whole thing. At least in this one Shibi took of me, her finger is covering the other half of the screen. And thankfully the other outside photos look pretty nice and clean. So overall, I love how the camera itself looks. It's especially funny next to an actual juice box, but unfortunately it kinda sucks to use. But as I continue my research, apparently this is not the only juice box camera, because there is yet another rabbit hole of these doodads, and they all share the same basic shape but with different drinks, such as fresh juice, orange juice, apple juice, and multiple different types of milk. But then they took it a little too far, because they also used the same box design for cigarette-themed cameras. It was so wholesome, why did they have to do that? Although I will admit, it's pretty funny how this pack just transforms into a camera gizmo. And speaking of random objects, they also turned a book into a camera. And to reveal this secret lens, you have to rotate the entire spine. We're not even theming the camera after anything interesting now. It's literally just a dictionary. There's even a bunch of sports ball cameras for some reason, like a basketball, soccer ball, baseball, and the unfolding contraption for this one looks insane. Although there's no way the spherical shape could possibly be comfortable to use. Imagine setting down your camera and it just rolls away. But speaking of cameras that'll roll away, we also have the tire camera for some reason. Out Out of all things to turn into a camera, why a tire?
I'm tired.
It's so strange how they made all these freaking cameras look like completely normal and mundane items. But that's also what I find so fun about these things. It's like they're just combining totally unrelated items together and you'll never know what to expect next. Like, if we already have a tire camera, then what about a whole race car camera too? And it looks like a little toy car, I love it. Thankfully, some people on Reddit took this doodad to actual NASCAR and F1 races, which is awesome. Imagine how funny you would look taking a photo of a race car with a race car. And speaking of vehicles, there's even a freaking airplane camera. And it looks so stupid. The chubby airplane. This is not aerodynamic at all. And beyond the sky, into space itself, we have the Jimmy Neutron rocket ship camera, which is completely unexpected. I can't believe this is real. And for some reason, it unfolds in the exact same way as the soda can cameras. And look at that, there's a little Jimmy Neutron in there, I guess. So far, we've seen drinks and vehicles and random objects turned into cameras. But now let's dive into the world of food-themed cameras. Such as the Japanese KFC camera, because of course that exists. You know how obsessed Japan is with their KFC, because over the years, they've constantly been making weird KFC merch, so it's not really that surprising that they made their own fully functional film camera too. And there's a little chibi Colonel Sanders on the front that's so cute. Also, if you didn't know, for some reason KFC is a Christmas tradition in Japan only, so as you can see, the box is fully decked out with Christmas festivities. But the best part is the fact that this camera has a never-before-seen gimmick, swappable frames. I didn't even know you could do that. There's 3 different Christmas KFC frames for you to choose from, so I'm just gonna pick my favorite one and install it. Obviously, I went to an authentic Australian KFC to take some photos, and not because I was hungry, we only went here for the video. Anyways, while I waited for my delicious meal, I of course loaded some film into the camera. First, we tried to take some indoor photos of our meal, but as usual, without the ability to adjust the settings, indoor photos are always way too dark on these stupid toy cameras, although the sunlight from the window is still kinda aesthetic. We also tried to take some photos of me eating the food, but they also turned out pretty bad. But after going outside, I took this breathtaking photo of the KFC sign. It's all shiny and glistening in the sun in front of a clear blue sky. And you can finally see the stupid Christmas KFC border too. For some reason on the top it says Happy Friends. And on the bottom there's a little Colonel Sanders and some random Christmas thingies. We also got this pretty tough photo of me outside the restaurant with some crazy lighting in the background. And then I got some photos of the building itself with even more fun lens flares. As you can see, the lens on this camera is very scratchy and dirty this time, but I actually kinda like it. It gives it like a grungy personality. And the ridiculous KFC frame is such a joyous addition to these photos. But speaking of fast food, McDonald's also made their own camera too, but this time it's disguised as a pack of large fries, and you have to unfold a chunk of fries to reveal the secret lens. As a french fry fan, I really wish I could review this gizmo, but unfortunately I couldn't get my own. But good thing that's not the only french fry themed camera, because there's also the Fry Cam, which comes in a variety of different colors. And it's just a pack of generic yummy french fries with a nice retro diner vibe. But this time it's not so secretly a camera, because there's a very obvious lens in the middle. For some reason the shutter button is on the front of the camera, which makes it really uncomfortable to use. I don't really know what they were thinking with that. And unfortunately, there's no special gimmicks like a french fry themed border or anything like that. But I still want to try it out, of course, because I do love french fries. So this time we cheated on KFC and got some McDonald's to take some photos of. Although for some reason the K-pop Demon Hunters collab was going on, so there's some unusual packaging for this photo shoot.
Oh my god, he wants my good face.
First, I tried to take some photos of french fries with my french fry camera, and you can see the evil seagulls eyeing my meal in the background. But the first thing I notice about this camera is that the FOV is way too high. Just look at how much the edges stretch out and get darker. It's like playing Minecraft parkour on Quake Pro mode. So unfortunately, most of my french fry photos are kinda ugly. I also got this cute photo of my wife drinking the green drink, and she also got a photo of me drinking the icky green drink too. But then the seagulls took my fries, so the rest of the photos are just of the beach itself. But honestly, I really don't like how these photos look. The wide-angle lens just makes everything look so empty compared to the other cameras. And the mysterious shadows in the corner don't really help either. You can still get some pretty cool shots with it, but I don't know. As much as I love french fries, I do not like the french fry camera. But after all that fast food, I think it's about time for some dessert. So let's check out the M&M's camera. The first thing I notice about this gizmo is the fact that it's obviously made by the same company as the Pikachu camera. It even has the same overall shape. But now we got this big ol' yellow M&M guy on the side. And he looks so creepy the way he just stares at you. Especially with how he's reaching his arm all the way around to the shutter button. So to take a photo, you have to awkwardly press his hand into the button. Just get your hand out of the way, dude. You're not helping. And just like the Pikachu camera, of course this one has its very own custom border too. I can't wait to see how photos look on this doodad. So let's go ahead and do another photo shoot. First, I need to mention the fact that the yellow M&M's arm is literally in the way when you're trying to take pictures.
The suspicious red bump that's on your forehead now.
Did they even think this through? Like, what the hell even is this design?
Ow.
Anyways, first I tried to take some photos in this candy store, but you can see for yourself how they turned out. It was worth a shot, I guess. But in the outside photos, you can finally see the ridiculous M&M's frame in all its glory. Although, it's almost distracting how big and colorful it is. But at the same time, it just adds so much whimsy to the photos, I kinda love it. The humble bag of M&M's peacefully resting on the grass with the sunset lens flare in the background. I can't believe how beautiful this stupid photo is, what the hell? I tried to experiment a bit with the shots, but there's honestly not much you can do with a single bag of M&M's. The sunset was always doing crazy stuff in the background, so they still look pretty cool. We also got some POV you're holding a bag of M&M shots. I don't really know, man. I didn't have any ideas. At least I got Shibi to take a pretty cool photo of me, and I kinda look like a green M&M myself. I fit right in. The silly custom frame adds a lot of personality to these photos, but it kinda is a bit much sometimes. And if there's not enough light, it gets very see-through very quickly, which can sometimes completely ruin your photo. But honestly, the entire concept of all these cameras having custom frames is technically useless. Obviously, you can just add whatever frame you want after taking a photo, but the fact that these frames are literally exposed onto the film itself is so funny to me. And the frames actually interact with light as you take the photo. Sometimes lens flares will literally shine through the design, it's so sick. And on top of that, it just adds so much personality to the camera itself. Why would you want to take a normal ass photo on a camera that looks like this? But for the final section, there's also a bunch of cameras themed after different media, like cartoons and movies and whatnot, such as the Pokemon camera we used earlier, or even these cursed Mickey Mouse cameras that are genuinely so freaky looking. I love how they made the lens his nose. And why do his eyes and nose look like that? It's so weird. We also got the Snoopy-Matic camera, where they just turned his entire doghouse into a camera, which is so ridiculous. And it actually works out pretty well with how the lens is hidden in the door. For some reason, they made this Star Wars camera that looks like a pair of droid binoculars. This is probably the strangest looking camera I've ever seen, and it's way bigger than it needs to be. It even has its own gimmick where you can superimpose a Star Wars character into your photo, and they're just standing there. It looks so ridiculous. And even Dragon Ball Z of all things has its own film camera. Although Frieza's spaceship is such an unnatural shape for a camera. It's literally just a circle, and there's even yet another swappable frames gimmick. This is crazy. But after all these film cameras, I gotta talk about at least one digital camera. So now I present to you the cursed micro SpongeBob camera. I already mentioned this gizmo in a SpongeBob video I did a few years ago, but now I finally have this cursed artifact in real life. The all-seeing eye of SpongeBob. It's just so creepy looking. Why did they make it like that? This tiny thing also has barely any functionality. There's not even a screen to see your photos, and you have to rip off his pants to reveal the secret USB. It's also a part of an entire series of other stupid looking SpongeBob gizmos too, such as a terrifying MP3 player, an even bigger camera, and this digital photo viewer thing. And this one's a confusing little device as well. Its only purpose is just a screen to look at photos on. That's all it does. Although unfortunately, I could not for the life of me get this thing to work at all. And before we went out to the beach yet again to take some photos, I figured out that the SpongeBob camera only works when it's actively plugged into a power bank. It's probably broken or something because it doesn't say anything about this in the manual. And I look like a crazy person holding this doohickey on the beach.
Ew, it's so ugly. This is the saddest situation for a digital camera I've ever seen.
He looks like he's hooked up to like IV. He's like in the hospital. This is Gore, my comfort character.
This is, put the power bank away.
I'm recording you. Taking photos of you.
After taking all my pictures, to actually see them, I have to install this Flash Photos tool on my computer, and then you have to just attach him to your PC. He's like a barnacle growing out of the USB. And now we can open this extremely early 2000s UI and finally see all my photos. And these photos are so terribly low quality to the point where it's actually kind of aesthetic. The 480p and vignette and weird blurs in the corners, and some noise and JPEG compression sprinkled around. I also took some photos of random stuff around the house, such as my cat Snickers, and these images just look so weird. The colors are weird and the exposure is all weird. Literally all the debuffs a digital camera can have, and it all comes together to create a really liminal and nostalgic vibe. Although it still is a pretty bad device though, but at least it is better than the Game Boy camera. But that's all the cameras I'll be reviewing in this video. It's pretty crazy to me that this entire industry was just completely forgotten, and going back to using actual film and trying out such ridiculous devices was genuinely so fun. Although buying and developing film is really expensive nowadays, so I'm probably not gonna be using these doodads that often. But if you like all the stupid photos I took, there will be a link to a Google Drive in the description, so you can see them in all their glory. And while you're at it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and let me know which camera is your favorite in the comments. Okay, bye!